Don't skip welcome to Stoic Life X9 channel. It's a commonly held belief that showing kindness to others is about making them happy and concern, but is this actually the case? Or is it just a sophisticated ruse to get you to give up? Have you ever experienced burnout from your personal identity and values? From continuously attempting to win people over, ask yourself if you feel satisfied, as others turn into the yardstick by which you assess your own value. Do you long to recover your independence, self-assurance, and decisiveness without fearing what? In this intricate and dynamic world, people are always attempting to. In addition to causing you to lose your sense of self, trying to satisfy others erodes your self-worth. Stoic philosophy is a powerful, age-old and useful school of thought, provides insightful insights to assist you in escaping this. One of the well-known Stoic thinkers, Cycle Epicus, once stated, "First speak to consider who you would be, then carry out the lengthy task at hand." Stoic masters have taught that living is the only way to find true happiness and tranquility, based on your personal ideals and beliefs, as opposed to attempting to please everyone in your vicinity, as we examine 10 techniques based on Stoic philosophy that can assist you in giving up trying too hard to please people and leading a self-sufficient, self-assured, and meaningful life. Are you prepared to break this and set off on a fresh journey where you live according to your actual values rather than the desires of others? If so, please stop commenting and watch the movie, letting us know that you're prepared for this adventure by checking the box below. And now let's get into the profound Stoic philosophy's wisdom to quit trying to please other people. Number 1. Start with number 1 and comprehend the root. Understanding the underlying source of the issue is the first and most important step in putting an end to excessive. In order to please other people, you must go deeply within yourself and determine the true cause of your behavior. Is it a fear of being rejected, a need for approval, or fear of being? Start by asking yourself, why do I always feel like I have to cater to people who criticize me? Why do I feel so suppressed and unable to express my emotions among others all the time? The answers may not be straightforward, and it will take some time to comprehend you completely. May have gone through difficult times where it became necessary for others to accept them for your feeling of security and value, or maybe you were raised in a when being liked by others was the benchmark for compassion and kindness. Sometimes people don't value their own desires and instead try to appease others. Because people who strive to please others have a need for external validation. They lack self-respect, approval, and could think that helping others will make them famous, and despite how severe the punishment may be, we must actually examine the root causes of enhance our situation. Knowing the source of the issue not only provides you with a clear understanding of your own motives, which not only enables you to better manage your feelings and responses upon realizing that the dread. Since rejection is merely a creation of your thoughts, you can start to perceive it objectively and resist letting it control how you behave, as Epictetus already stated. Not bothered by things and by the perspective they adopt in order to identify the source of the issue is a strong place to start when trying to please other people, because it opens the way to individual autonomy and a fulfilling life in which you stay loyal to your self-values courageously, confront your inner anxieties, and set off on this adventure with the unwavering Stoic philosopher's mindset, self-restrained and brimming with dignity. Music, number 2. The second, made it evident boundaries. Clearly defining boundaries in a relationship is one of the most important techniques to cease overly satisfying other people's personal boundaries and to safeguard your own time and space, but also support you in maintaining your morals and concepts outlined in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Stephen C.V. wrote, "No one can hurt you," which is a fundamental lesson in personal transformation. Without your permission, this quotation exemplifies the Stoic philosophy in life. A lot of individuals often neglect their own desires and ideals only. This undermines one's sense of self-worth and creates a sense of need to satisfy others. Setting boundaries is a good way to prevent becoming aimless and tired. Set limits as a means of self-affirmation and protection. Clearly state your boundaries and don't let anyone else violate them. You are entitled to manage your space, time, and the ability to resist being coerced into doing whatever you don't want to. Do you remember the last time you turned down a request because it didn't work out? Conform to my ideals if the response is infrequent or non-existent. It might be time to re-evaluate your methods for establishing boundaries because they don't always work, imply being callous or self-centered. Rather, it's a method to show respect for, and the question is, how can I learn to love myself? Setting limits without destroying connections with other people might be difficult, but it can be completed skill F, and honestly convey intelligibly and kindly, outlining the benefits of the reasons for maintaining boundaries. Take a basic example from yourself. Both sides are more aware of and respectful of one another. When you're at work and a co-worker needs assistance, are you always willing to aid them? We'll eventually discover that you don't have enough time for personal and professional rather than setting vague boundaries. You may say, "I'm happy to help. Nevertheless, I'm now busy. Could we talk about this after work so you can keep?" Your limits are not walls to be crossed in order to avoid upsetting other people. Distinct but links that foster reverence, and realizing that establishing limits is a sign of respect and self-love enables you to lead a life that is consistent with your beliefs and ideals, bringing actual. Are you prepared to establish such boundaries in your life as to achieve serenity and happiness? Thirdly, prioritize your video to demonstrate to me that you're ready. Number 3. Needs in today's stressed out and socially constructed existence. Meeting expectations before your own needs is frequently viewed as conceited or egotistical. Nonetheless, from a Stoic standpoint, this is both a right and each person's obligation to live a life consistent with their principles and ideas. You might wonder how you can order your needs without. Imagine yourself on a plane, feeling guilty and wondering why this is so necessary. When the oxygen masks fall, there is a problem, and you are told to place your foot on your mask before assisting others, since you must protect your own, prioritizing one's health and safety in order to adequately assist others in a comparable manner in life. If you don't put your own needs first, demands without which you won't be able to lead a fully and sustainably place the needs of others before your own on a daily basis. Whose life are you truly living? When you put your own needs and wants aside, you can genuinely feel glad, because putting your own needs ahead of those of others is about taking charge of your life, about making DEC decisions and being conscious of your beliefs, objectives, and constraints. Consequently, this doesn't imply that you don't have empathy for other people. Rather, putting your needs first doesn't imply letting other people's needs take precedence over your own. Being self-centered means looking after oneself so that you can be prepared to. When you're content and strong, you can distribute good vibes more efficiently and assist others. Energy to others around you, you might consider what matters most to you in terms of the truth. What pursuits make me happy and satisfied? When you respond to these, you start to recognize the direction you need to go in more questions. Evidently, recognizing your own needs and learning to prioritize them are tightly related. Your ideals. Let's proceed to the next lesson. Number 4. 4. Determine your identity. Values. Discovering your values is a liberating internal journey. From the need to win over people's approval, it's a process of deeply knowing the values, convictions, and objectives that are most important to you. When you are steadfast in your beliefs, You won't be carried away by societal pressures and pressures. Instead, you'll live a life that is centered on a distinct direction and purpose. Deciding your values not only depends on the values you have defined, molds your life while assisting you in avoiding the need to satisfy others. Identifying these ideals makes it simpler to say no to people. Inappropriate requests without feeling bad about it. You'll understand that refusing is a show of self-respect and not a sign of disrespect. Recognition of your personal principles. Consider an instance in which you felt under duress to appease someone, despite the fact that it went against your principles. What mental effects did the discomfort and loss of control have on you? Only damages your feeling of value and self-esteem. But when you refuse to, you'll feel more resilient if you act up to your ideals and refuse inappropriate demands. And more firmly state your principles. Identifying your priorities in life and what matters most to you can assist you in making choices that are consistent with who you really are instead. Then don't conceal your needs or compromise your morals in order to win others over. Passions in order to please others. This will keep you from experiencing your most genuine existence if you don't know who you are, what you want, or what you're. If you work too hard and strive to please people all the time, you'll lose contact with yourself and finally lose sight of who you really are. Being aware of and upholding your principles takes time and effort, self-awareness, as well as occasionally the bravery to confront social pressures. But as Seneca pointed out, there's no wind in the sailor's favor who lacks direction. But if you know where you're going and what your beliefs are, you'll find. Because each wind presents a chance for you to develop and become number 5. More robust number 5 evaluation demands, and in an effort to win others over, we frequently say yes without thinking twice. However, Stoic philosophy highlights the idea that when friends seek for favors, significance of thoroughly assessing every request prior to adhering to this is an essential ability that enables us to give up trying to win over everyone, and safeguards our own principles and time. When you get a request permit, to take a minute to reflect about whether the other person, somebody attempting to profit from your kindness. Are they someone who consistently asks for your assistance, yet never shows up when you need them to return the favor? They may recognize your magnanimous demeanor and persistently request your help, even with things they could do without you. Knowing won't refuse. Evaluating requests aids in preserving your freedom of choice in life from outside influences. When presented with a request, consider whether it really not essential for my objectives and principles. In that case, you should kindly and firmly refuse reviewing requests, in addition to maintains your moral principles, while enabling you to make use of your time and energy use more wisely. Take into account a certain, for instance, before consenting to ask, a close friend requires assistance with a personal project. Do I have the time and energy to assist you, and how will this request affect my personal objectives? If you choose to, can they do the assignment without my assistance? Refuse to acknowledge that your decision does not lessen the significance of your partnership. Conversely, it demonstrates respect for both you and we are halfway through our journey today. Others. I appreciate you being here. We are greatly encouraged by your participation as we work to spread awareness of the true values of Stoic philosophy among more people. To help your relatives and friends learn these truths, kindly like and share this video. Friends, and contribute to creating a world that is calmer and happier. Post a remark stating, "I'm ready to live only for myself," in order to signal to us that you're ready to adopt a stoic and complete of vitality, to go on the adventure for the remaining 5. Music number 6. Sixth lesson. Conflict is not the conflict in life is inevitable, but for those who strive to please others at all times, conflict is perceived as a personal failure, as an indication that they were insufficiently skilled to harmony, makes them avoid disagreement at all costs, even if it means making sacrifices. Their own requirements and ideals, but is this really the best solution? Stoic philosophy provides us with an alternative viewpoint and a more potent approach dispute as a chance for us to grow and learn, not a problem. The Stoic philosophy reminds us that disagreement isn't always bad. Instead, it is how we respond to and assess it that matters. Rather than trying to avoid confrontation, we should approach it coolly and rationally. Because we see it as a normal aspect of life, we frequently want to satisfy people. Others are afraid of the bad feelings we worry will surface in our interactions. Fear if we say something, the other person would ignore us or think less of us. No, but it's crucial to realize that expressing no and not being afraid of disagreement. When required, this is also a means of evaluating the value of our connections. Keeping up if the other person asks you to give up on your morals, time and energy to support them, if a relationship prevents you from developing and disagreements occur when you reject. It's better to let rid of it as soon as you cease being afraid. Confrontation and develop a cool, collected demeanor to deal with it. You will eventually let go of the urge to win over people. You'll see that conflict is a necessary aspect of life, and not necessarily a sign of failure. Rather, it presents a chance for you to communicate your beliefs and ideals in order to create more sincere connections, deeper connections. Have you ever declined a request from someone because it didn't either? Because you lacked the necessary time to support your development, or because energy for it? Did conflict emerge as a consequence? And if so, how did you resolve it? Feel free to share your ideas and anecdotes in the comments section below. Number 7. You're learning how to say that. 7. Never consider a day full of demands from co-workers, friends, and family. If you continually saying yes solely to please other people, you'll feel overburdened and under pressure. If you try to please others, you'll become tired easily and lose your identity. It's important to learn when to say no. A step toward taking back your life's autonomy and control. The Stoic philosophy advises us to set defined boundaries that put our needs first and acknowledge our own. Here are the pillars that we have investigated in order to construct an ID support system that enables us to firmly refuse when it's required to uphold our moral principles. Saying no saves you time and energy and protects your soul and beliefs from needless burdens. Declining a request is an indication of consideration rather than disrespect. Self-control and dignity. Ask yourself if you truly want to do this. These questions help you determine if something is in line with your goals and values. Make sensible choices and stay out of the human cycle. Learning to say no can be enjoyable and aid in concentrating on what really is important to you and has significance. Consider the last time you sense of regretting accepting something you didn't truly want to do comes from ceding power to appease others. Keep in mind to say no not only upholds your morals, but also assists you in building a life you truly. Stoic philosophy tells us that genuine happiness and freedom come from inside ourselves. Controlling our feelings and making wise decisions requires the ability to say no. A phase of this adventure when you have the courage to turn down offers that don't match your ideals and objectives. You'll feel more resilient, self-assured, and eventually happier. In addition to learning when to say no, we also need to refrain from number 8. Providing justifications for our refusals. Let's go to the next lesson. 7th, 8th, don't justify yourself. One of the well-known Stoic thinkers, Marcus Aurelius, famously stated, "If it is not." This quote inspires us to be truthful, so if it's not true, don't say it. Honest both to ourselves and to others when stating no. By refusing to make excuses, you compel yourself to acknowledge the reality of the circumstance and your sincere response, which not only prolongs your life in line with your principles, but also upholds your confidence and self-respect. Picture a straightforward situation. When a friend requests for assistance, but you're extremely pressed for time, just don't want to do it. If you have to give an explanation, you may state that you're busy with, "I have an important appointment, this, that, or something else." But if you're sincere and say, "You have other commitments or need time for yourself, so you can't help." Do you think that feeling more at ease and relieved is true? Furthermore, as you begin elaborating on your limitations, you provide the giving someone else a chance to find weaknesses in your reasoning, much worse their desire to take into account the justification you gave when you genuinely declined, and provide a true explanation. You convey to them that you are being completely serious with them. Other individual with whom you can establish mutual respect and confidence. Others, it also boosts your self-esteem and value, since you refuse to. They will know, if you allow unworthy things to have an impact on your life, that if you do agree, your agreement has meaning. Then consider what you desire. To lead an authentic life in which all of your choices and deeds are founded on your own truth and principles, or are you content to carry on with the pretense and explanation? The response will undoubtedly change the way you view your life and the way you wish to spend it. Number 9. Clearly acknowledge that you can't please. In number 9, accepting that you can't win over everyone is a big start in the right direction. Putting an end to the unnecessary effort to please others is a reality that Stoic philosophy accentuates. What Marcus Aurelius wrote once: "The only path to happiness is to give up caring about things which transcend our willpower, and other people's contentment is anything outside of our control. Therefore cease worrying." Music. Picture living a life in which you try to win over everyone around you. You can experience a continual sense of tension and panic, as if you're walking on a tightrope, that a minor error could cause you to tumble. The reality is that nobody can win over constantly, so why do we continue try? It's because we're terrified of rejection, dreads criticism, and yearns for acceptance. But maybe you've forgotten. Something genuine acceptance originates from is crucial. We are powerless over what other people believe or feel about us. The only thing we can influence is our own response. Consider whether the individuals you're attempting to, is it really so crucial that you have to forfeit your personal happiness and tranquility? Examine the life of the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, who was condemned to death for defying social norms. Like Socrates, did not try to win over the powerful or the general public, but instead adhere to his beliefs and convictions. He showed that being truthful with oneself and one's remember that values are far more significant than attempting to win over others. Recognizing that you can't win over everyone is a strength, not a sign of weakness. Expression of inner power and independence. Give up looking for acceptance from others and begin by asking yourself if you agree with this point of view. Please leave a comment below to let me know if you would want to share your ideas so we can talk about them jointly. Number 10. Beginning with little. Number 10. Obstacles. If the 9 previously listed mentality shifts seem too much to handle, when you start small, worry starts with the slightest steps. Problems. You're progressively creating a strong basis for your judgment and selection. Every time you decline a modest request, you're strengthening for instance, with self-assurance and faith in your restraint. You can begin by turning down an offer to supper if you're uncomfortable or just want to. Spending time with oneself is a minor but powerful act that has a big impact on how, over time, as you grow accustomed to it, you perceive and manage your time and energy. Saying no to little requests will make it simpler for you to deal with bigger ones without the need to win over people. But why are little obstacles so significant? Abrupt adjustments are frequently too challenging due to human behavior's tendency to conserve energy by adhering to patterns when your tendency is as deeply established as brushing your teeth every day. It is difficult to break small problems at first aid in a progressive change in your perspective, and when you begin to see yourself, you begin to understand that winning over people is not the fundamental purpose of life, rather than upholding your moral principles and ideals is what matters most, beginning with minor difficulties as well. Enhances your confidence and sense of self-worth when you achieve, in turning down little requests so that you can focus on bigger ones. Obstacles, you'll discover that you can live an independent and satisfying. Are you prepared to begin living your life without continuously attempting to satisfy others? Tiny obstacles to give up attempting to win people over, and keep in mind every tiny. Taking action is a big step toward achieving true freedom and happy. Keep in mind that other people's opinions or their gaze do not define your existence. Final verdict. Others, but stop incarcerating people based on the ideals and ideas you chose to uphold. Start putting yourself in other people's shoes and begin leading a genuine life where you are in charge of your feelings and choices. Therefore, sometimes it's okay to say no. Difficult, but it's an important step in safeguarding your self-worth and personal values. Consider whether you want to lead a life that is stressful and a state of tension, or one of liberty, autonomy, and tranquility. Each choice you make is one chance to stand up for your principles and be really you. Applying the Stoic philosophy's precepts will make you feel a positive change in your life. You'll discover that your inner strength feel more content and assured with the decisions you've made. Bravely open the door to your own independence and lead a life filled with start today with self-love and respect for yourself, and let Stoic philosophy guide you. Philosophy lead you to a happy and meaningful existence, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Being here demonstrates your desire to make if these techniques work for you, please tell your friends and family about them so they together to create a better life. Which of the 10 strategies did you? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you. Remember to hit like and subscribe to ensure you don't miss out on future content. Helpful material from us. We'll see you on the next thrilling adventure.